Hello, everyone. We are talking with Gen's deputy editor, Julianna LeMieux, live from San Antonio. She's at the AGBT Ag conference. Hi, Julianna. How are you?
Hi, Kevin. I'm great. I'm having a great time at the meeting.
Easy to spot in your custom red fleece there.
Yep.
Doing Jen
Sporting the Gen Red. Yep.
doing Jen proud. So what's it like attending, I think, probably your first plant genome conference?
Yeah, definitely my first plant genome conference. So it's been terrific. Today is day 2. So we were here all day yesterday and then today. And it's been just, I have learned so much about plants. And I should say, not just plants, plants and also animals. So there's a lot of talks actually about cattle and chickens and other animals that are being used in ag. So it's both. I don't know if it's 50-50, but it's definitely both plants and animals.
All right, we'll dig into the highlights of the program. First of all, how does it compare with the flagship meeting, the AGBT general meeting, which you've been covering for the last few years?
So some things, I mean, it's a typical AGBT meeting in that it's like in this amazing location, there's terrific food. At AGBT meetings, everybody really comes and stays for the whole meeting. And it's so much terrific mixing of, both everywhere, grad students, postdocs, PIs, everybody's mixing together. It's very social. It's very different from the general meeting because it's smaller and it's a little bit more just smaller. It's a little bit more, I would say, like a little bit more relaxed, maybe. There's less sponsors and yeah, a little bit more casual maybe, but the level of science is the same as general meeting, top notch.
Yeah, that runs in their DNA, I think it's fair to say. So what has stood out so far? You're probably approaching just a little bit beyond the halfway point of the conference. What have you learned? So what surprised you about the world of plants and livestock, I guess?
Yeah. So, I mean, Kevin, I'm a microbiologist, and in bacteria, there's, first of all, a tiny genome. You knock out one copy of the gene, and there's a phenotype, right? The bacterium's either dead or it grows slow or whatever. These genomes, these plant genomes, are so complex and so big. It's like hard to even fathom how they work with them. And to that point, like, did you know that the oat genome was only sequenced last year for the first time? I mean, the first reference genome
Wow.
last year, because they're so difficult to sequence. And so, and never mind that. So some talks are just about like that struggle, right? Then other talks are about, well, okay, so now we have, for example, the oat one that I was just talking about. We have one reference genome, but what is that? They need everybody's talking about a pan genome. But now you have to do like dozens of these. So it's so much sequencing and assembly, and it's really super complicated. So I think the patience that these plant genomicists have to work with their genomes is like really astounding and impressive.
Yeah, you came back from AGBT telling us how everyone was talking about the $200 genome, but I guess a plant genome's a fair bit more than that.
Yeah, and actually to that point, another big difference between what I'm hearing about the sequencing here and at AGBT general meeting is that, at other meetings, it's really a lot of Illumina sequencing, but here they're using a lot of the long read sequencing, the PacBio and the Oxford Nanopore. So, and you can see why, right? They want like really long fragments, and there's just like so much DNA, I think. Yeah, so the talks here are much, much more about, the new PacBio systems like the Revio, and also there's a lot of Oxford Nanopore sequencing here as well. But I mean, the short read sequence, platforms do make an appearance, but not like in other meetings.
Yeah. So on the technology front, is that what has stood out for you so far, the abundance of long read platforms?
Yeah. Absolutely. The abundance of long read platforms and also combinations of different platforms. I just got out of the lunch workshop, was a T2T workshop where they're doing T2T, not, as was famously published last year in humans, but in other organisms, in tomato, in chickens, in other animals. And so they are, like was done in the humans, they're combining different technologies. So they're using PacBio, ONT, and also Illumina and some, Hi-C as well. So they are doing those same same types of things. But yeah, but it's a different ball game when you're talking plants.
I didn't realize the T2T consortia were going to spread into the plant kingdom. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's been your favorite talk? Can you name one or two?
Well, another thing that I've learned that I had no idea is that, do you know that some cattle farms in Australia are bigger than like whole states in the United States, like Connecticut? Like there's one farm, he actually compared it to Wales, but like it takes 4.5 hours to drive through one farm. And so this talk this morning by this researcher named, I think it was Harry Lamb, and he's in Australia. And so what he was saying is that they only bring the cattle in once a year because they're so far away, and it takes helicopters and tons of people to do this. And then what they want to do, right, is select the cattle that they want to keep to breed. But they can't keep them for the time that it takes to send them sequencing out and bring it back. That's 6 weeks. They can't keep the cattle there for that long. So they have to send them back out for a year and then bring them back in. So they want to, he's developing a method using the Oxford MinION to do it right there on the spot so that they can sequence the cattle right away, keep the ones they want, let go of the ones that they don't want. And so, just this, again, it's like the world in which they're working is all so new to me. And so I'm learning so many different things about that.
There are some who would say that Wales is one giant sheep farm, but that's Wales is my ancestral homeland, so I would not condone such filthy jokes. What about on the exhibitor side? I mean, you write a lot about the technologies. I mean, are you running into any companies that you feel are making an impression that you perhaps didn't come across at the flagship meeting?
Yeah, actually, so I have bumped into, so there's definitely the NGS companies here, PacBio's here, Elements here, Singular's here.
Yeah.
But then also I have met a couple, the specific ag genomic companies like Corteva is here. And so, I definitely want to talk to them about what they're doing, and other ag companies. And then other library prep companies that I hadn't met. One is called BioEcho. And they actually, they have kind of a sustainability model. They're just trying to use like one tube and less tips and things like that. Another company called Molgen, which is doing like robotic sample prep. So there are some companies here that I haven't seen before and still doing NGS stuff and NGS prep, but maybe more in the ag space.
So great. Well, it sounds like you're having a great time scientifically and intellectually. Any on the social side, any famous rap stars making an appearance tonight?
Yeah. Well, tonight is the party night. So I don't know if Florida's coming, but I doubt it. But it'll be a fun, it's again, like classic AGBT, very social, so many nice people. So it'll be a fun night. And I'm getting to know a lot of new people in the ag space. So that's been great.
And this is the second of 3 AGBT events, right? Precision Health, I think, is the other spin-off event that they do coming up later this year. So
that's in the fall. Yeah.
In the fall. Well, Julianna, thanks for checking in with us. And if you don't get blown away, we'll talk to you tomorrow on the final day of the conference.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Kevin.
Right. Cheers.
Okay, bye.